Okay, hi guys, welcome to this orientation session of the paper Advanced Financial Management. Before we start off, let me give a brief introduction about myself. My name is Luqman Rafiq, and I have been in teaching profession for more than 13 years now. And the different subjects that I have been teaching include this Advanced Financial Management, Advanced Performance Management, the Auditing and Assurance, and the SBR. I do understand that these are the various different type of papers at the ACCA professional level that are being examined. But I've been doing it for the last 13 years that I've been teaching all these areas of financial management, financial reporting, and the performance management and the auditing. I've conducted the webinars for ACCA on the several occasions for the papers AAA, APM, and the AFM. Furthermore, I have been teaching the different qualifications, the chart accountancy qualifications, including the ACCA itself, the ICAW, which is the Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. In addition to this, I've also been teaching CIMA, which is another UK-based qualification. And furthermore, I teach the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan's qualification, ICAP, which is the local chartered accountancy qualification in Pakistan. So that's a brief profile about myself, and our agenda for today's session is to discuss about AFM and not about Luqman Rafiq. So what I'll do is that I'll now move forward and I'll start discussing about this Advanced Financial Management course. So let's talk about this Advanced Financial Management, which was previously known as the P4. So Advanced Financial Management, which was previously known as P4, let me have a quick discussion about this Advanced Financial Management. You see, when you look at the connection, when you look at this specific paper, so what we do is that we do study basic management accounting at the MA paper, which is also known as F2. Then you go on and the next paper that you study is the PM, which is the performance management paper, which is the F5. The next paper that you study is called the financial management paper, which is the paper F9. And the next paper, which you are now going to be studying, is the AFM, which is the paper P4. Now, let me give you a brief guidance about this paper P4. So let's try to have an understanding that basically there is some brought forward knowledge from the management accounting that you would encounter at this P4 level. There's some brought forward knowledge at this from this performance management that you would encounter at this P4 level. And there is going to be a lot of knowledge from the F9 level paper that you would be encountering at this AFM level. So when we are going to be studying this AFM, so you need to keep this thing in mind that it is actually the brought forward knowledge that is going to be crucial, that is going to play a critical role in you preparing for this AFM paper. Now, generally speaking, as a student, I mean, I have also been through the student life and I know this thing, that once we get over with the paper, the moment we come out of the exam hall, we usually forget everything. I repeat, the moment we come out of the examination hall, so we usually forget everything. So I am expecting that this is the same case with you people also, that you would have forgotten every single thing that you would have studied at these papers, especially at the F9. You would have almost forgotten everything, and that would have been at the lowest possible end of your memory. So I do realize this thing, and therefore what I do is that when I teach AFM, I try to start off the students from this FM level, and then I try to reach the AFM content. So whatever that we would be discussing, I repeat, whatever that we would be discussing at AFM, if there is any brought forward knowledge, so first what we would do is that we would have a quick revision of this financial management. And the next thing that we would do is that we would then go on to the AFM topic. Now, before I go on discussing about the AFM syllabus, let me give you a brief idea about how this specific method, how this specific syllabus is going to be examined. So I have in front of me the syllabus for this AFM, and I would actually guide you through the syllabus also, that how exactly is the examiner going to examine this syllabus? So you could see the examination structure is like this, that there are two questions. The paper is of 3 hour 15 minutes. So it's actually 3 hour 15 minute. That's what the paper is all about. And what happens is there is a section A, which is worth 50 marks. There's section A, which is worth 50 marks. And there is one question in section A worth 50 mark, and there are different elements of that question. So you usually come across 2-3 topics which are examined in this section A question. Then you've got section B, where there are 2 questions and each of the question is worth 25 marks. Where you've got 2 questions and each of the question is worth 25 marks. So that's what it is, that each of the question is actually worth 25 marks. Okay. There are few students who would have actually gotten the exemption from the F9 paper also. So what we would be doing is that we would be ensuring that those students who got the exemption, I'm sure you do know a bit, but again, we would be teaching you in a manner so that you are able to revise all those brought forward requirements, knowledge of the F9. So don't worry about it. Now, so there's this section B where we have got 2 questions and each of the question is worth 25 marks each. I repeat, each of the question is worth 25 marks each. So what you would be getting is in total 3 questions, 50 mark question, then 25 mark question. That's how the paper is going to be examined. Now, is there a specific syllabus area which the examiner expects us to know? Well, I think almost everything that the examiner wants you to know, because it's not an OTQ based type paper. It's a completely constructed response based paper. So all that you have to do is that in the different parts of the question, you would be using the word processing document, and you would be using the spreadsheet in the different parts of the question. There are few students who would be having a paper-based examination because ACCA got a bit delayed in implementing the computer-based examination across the globe. But in case if any one of you is attempting the paper-based examination also, so that is the preparation that we would do is going to be relevant for you also. But my majorly focus is going to be that I would initially, while explaining the questions, I would not be using the CBE platform. But once I go forward, once I move forward, I would be using the CBE platform to explain the things to you. Now, let's move a bit forward and let's talk about the other aspects of the syllabus. As you could see that there are different aspects of the syllabus, which is, and you could see that there is this connection between all of them. You could see there is this connection between all of them. With respect to this part, which has been recently added up, and this has been added up by ACCA to all the papers, whether that be the paper of F5 performance management, whether that be the F9, whether that be P4, whether that be P7. ACCA has added up this specific section of employability and technical skills in each and every paper, and you don't have to worry about it. That what do I need to do in order to prepare for it? I'm going to guide you about it. So first of all, I'll just focus upon this specific area because I know there must be a lot of students amongst you who would get confused that what is it that we need to do. So don't worry about it. I'm just explaining it. Now, the first thing that you need to understand with respect to it is that when you go to work, when you go to a job, so you are expected to use data, use the information, analyze the information, interpret the information. And while doing all this, you are expected to use the technology. While doing all this, you are expected to use the technology. So what is actually going to happen is that when you would be preparing for the CBE practice platform, you'd be learning the skills of handling data. You'd be learning the skills of operating in the paperless environments. You'd be learning the skills of operating the spreadsheet of the Excel. You'd be learning of presenting your reports on the word processing documents. You would be learning the presentation skills of how best to format your reports. So this is all that you are going to learn through the CBE practice platform itself. So you don't have to go an extra mile for all this. It's just that you practice for the CBE platform and you're ready for it. You just practice the CBE platform and you will be ready for it. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to go extra mile. You don't have to prepare anything extra for it. So That is something that you would have to keep in mind. Now, let's move a bit forward. So that is one area. Now, we are now left with the 5 remaining sections of this syllabus. And if I talk about these 5 remaining sections of the syllabus, you could see that there is a connection between all of these sections and section A. There's a connection between all of these sections and section A. Now, why is there a connection between all of these sections and the section A? Let me explain to you. Let me guide you with respect to it. Now, first thing is that you could see that what is there in section A. It says role of senior financial advisor in a multinational organization. Now, this is exactly what you are expected to be when it comes to the AFM paper. So if you are going to be attempting the AFM paper, this is what the examiner is expecting you to be. What? He is expecting you to be a senior financial advisor who is going to be acting as an advisor for an organization which is a multinational, which is operating in various jurisdictions, which is operating in various countries. That is what you would have to act as a consultant. And then you would be handling these aspects, you'd be handling these aspects, you'd be handling these aspects. So all of these aspects are actually going to be dealt by you. Now, let me discuss each one of them, and I would connect it to the F9 also, so that you have an idea that what is it that is connected to F9, how is it connected to F9. If I could just go on having a quick recall of the topic that are examined at the F9 level. So you would remember that one of the topic is the sources of finance. There's another topic which is called the cost of capital. There's a third topic which is the investment appraisal. There's this business valuation. Then you have got the risk management, and then you have got working capital management. So let me repeat, when we talk about the F9 paper, what are the areas that are examined at the F9? So you would remember that these are the core areas of the syllabus, which is sources of finance, cost of capital, investment appraisal, business valuation, risk and risk management, and the last one of them is working capital management. Now let me guide you, except for this working capital management. I repeat, except for this working capital management, every single topic at this F9 level is connected to a topic at the AFM level. I repeat, let me guide you, every single topic at the F9 level is connected to this AFM. Now, how? We have already studied the sources of finance and the cost of capital. So the sources of finance and the cost of capital is connected to this section C, which is corporate, section D, which is corporate reconstruction and reorganization. So it's actually connected to corporate reconstruction and reorganization. So there's one thing which you need to keep in mind, that is it's corporate reconstruction and the corporate reorganization. That's what these two areas are connected to. Now, what exactly is this corporate reconstruction and corporate reorganization? Let me guide you. You see, if I talk about this reconstruction and reorganization, you have studied something similar to it in IAS 37, and that is actually restructuring. You have studied something similar to it in IAS 37, and that is considered to be restructuring. Now, what exactly is this reconstruction and reorganization? Let me guide you a bit so that you know that what is it that you are going to be studying when you'll be going through this specific area of the syllabus. So the first thing that you need to understand with reconstruction and reorganization is that there are 3 different types of reconstruction and reorganization. What are these 3 different types of reconstruction and reorganization? So if I talk about them, one of them is considered to be the financial reconstruction. The other one of them is considered to be the portfolio reconstruction. And the third one of them is called the organizational reconstruction. Now, the organizational reconstruction is more or less a non-financial aspect that you would be discussing or studying. So like, for example, if you've got an organization which has got a tall structure, what do you mean by a tall structure? Where there are many managerial layers. When there are many managerial layers, that's actually a tall structure of the organization. So if you would want to convert this tall to a flat structure, like very few levels of management, very few layers of management, this is actually considered to be the organizational reconstruction. Why is it considered to be the organizational reconstruction? Because you are changing the way the organization is organized. You are changing the way the organization is constructed. So that's an organizational reconstruction. And from the examination perspective, it could be an area which could be examined mostly from the perspective of the non-financial aspects. It's the non-financial discussion that you are more likely to be doing with respect to it. The second thing is about the portfolio. What is this portfolio reconstruction? The portfolio reconstruction is, portfolio is your group of investment. Let's say as an entity, you have invested in pharma sector. As an entity, you have invested in the textile sector. As an entity, you have invested in fertilizers business also. Now, what is it? This is actually a portfolio. This is actually a portfolio. So your business's risk, your business risk is going to be combined risk of all these sectors. Combined risk of all these sectors. So generally speaking, what happens is that there could be one of the sectors where there is a high credit periods involved. There is one sector where maybe very high regulatory environments are involved. There could be one of the sectors where there could be high volatility of the cash flows. There could be many things that could exist. When you bring about a change, to your business's portfolio, maybe you get rid of the fertilizer business. Maybe you change the way you operate in the textile sector. Previously, you were a textile manufacturer. Now you're converting into a textile marketer. Just like we've got marketing companies in the IT sector. You see, you've got Apple. Apple does not focuses upon production anymore. It just designs the product. It focuses upon research and development and product promotion. That's it. You talk about this HP. HP does not manufacture the laptops anymore. They have outsourced the entire production and they just focus upon research and development, the design and monitoring of the production and then marketing of the product. That is what they focus upon. You get it? That is what they focus upon. Okay, let's move a bit forward and let's discuss further. The next aspect is about the financial reconstruction and reorganization. Now, what is it, this financial reconstruction and reorganization? When we talk about the financial reconstruction and reorganization, try to understand this thing. Basically, what happens is that with respect to this financial reconstruction and reorganization, generally speaking, what happens is that if you have got a business which is funded by equity, if you have got a business which is funded by debt, if you have got a business which is funded by, let's say, the preference shares, if you have got a business which is funded by, let's say, convertible bonds, and you want to bring about a change, I repeat, and you want to bring about a change to the way the business is being managed financially, to the way the business's finances are being done. So in that case, what is it that you actually need to do is that, in that case, what you need to do is that you need to make sure that this is going to be considered as a financial reconstruction. So we did discuss about, I repeat, what we did was we did actually discuss about that I told you that there is something which is the sources of finance and the cost of capital that is that you have studied at the F9 level. So the same thing is going to be applicable here. And we would see that what are actually going to be the impacts of the corporate reconstructions and the reorganization on the way business is financed, on the business's WACC. All of these things are actually going to be discussed here. So it's actually going to be the impact of the business's WACC, the impact on the business's financial risk, etc., etc. All of this thing is going to be discussed when we'll be going about it. The next aspect of the syllabus is the investment appraisal. We have already studied the investment appraisal at the F9 level. And when we talk about the investment appraisal at the AFM level, it's an advanced level investment appraisal where we used to discuss that NPV is the best technique. Here we have got adjusted present value technique, which is a bit different technique to the NPV, an advanced level technique. We used to discuss that IRR is the best technique. Here we are going to discuss the MIRR as a technique. Then you would have the international investments, which are also going to be something that you would be managing. So whether we have to, if we have a decision to make that we have to go about investing internationally. So should we go ahead? Should we not go ahead? So that is also something that we would be discussing. So the advanced investment appraisal is also going to be another topic, which is going to be an advancement from what you have studied at the F9 level. Then there is going to be the third area, which is about the business valuation. So at the F9 level, we do study the business valuation, where we talk about that how the equity instruments are going to be valued, how the debt instruments of a business are going to be valued. Now at this AFM level, what we will be doing is we will actually be, I repeat, at the F9 level, we do talk about the business valuation. At the AFM level, the topic that is part and parcel of the course is mergers and acquisition. I repeat, the topic which is part and parcel of the course is the mergers and acquisitions. What is this mergers and acquisition? Try to understand the mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition is generally when we talk about merge is combining two businesses of same size. When we talk about acquisition, it's usually a larger size business acquiring a smaller size business. It's usually a large business acquiring a small business. That is considered to be acquisition. So what we talk about is the mergers and the acquisition. And when I talk about the mergers and acquisition, try to understand this. The concept of the mergers and acquisitions is going to be that, I repeat, the concept of mergers and acquisition is going to be that when you want to acquire a business, the most important aspect is that what is going to be the value of that business. I repeat, when you have to acquire a business, the important aspect, the most important aspect is what will be the value of this business. So what we would be doing over here is that we will be discussing the brought forward knowledge of the business valuation at the F9 level. We would be adding up more valuation techniques or the complex scenarios of valuation. And we would also be discussing the non-financial aspects of acquisition. We would also be discussing the non-financial aspects of acquisition. Now, let me guide you a bit about it, that what are the non-financial aspects of acquisitions? So see, there are many non-financial aspects, which is the operational issues, the operational matters, the cultural differences. There are many non-financial aspects that you need to cover up with respect to the mergers and acquisition. Furthermore, there is another important thing, which is about the financing of the business, that how exactly is the merger and acquisition going to be financed? Would we be taking debt? Would we be issuing the equity instrument? What is going to be the impact on the existing shareholders? What is going to be the impact on the acquirees shareholders? How are the different stakeholders going to react, etc., etc.? We're going to be discussing all of this when we'll be going through this. And the last area, which is about the risk management. So at this specific AFM level paper, you've got treasury and advanced risk management. What is the normal risk management at the F9 level that we have studied? We have talked about the interest rate risk management. and we have talked about the currency risk management. These are the two topics that you study at the F9 level, and they're exactly the two topics that you would be discussing at the AFM level, but they're going to be very advanced. They're going to be very advanced. They're going to be very advanced, and you would develop a lot of new things when it comes to this specific area. So that is something that we would be going through. And lastly, I told you that the working capital management is not part and parcel of the course. So if you could just see, we have got advanced investment appraisal, we have got mergers and acquisition, we have got corporate reconstruction and reorganization, and we have got the treasury and the advanced risk management. These are all four topics that you got to go about, and they constitute the major portion of the AFM syllabus. Now, how are they connected to this? Let me show you, let me guide you the content of this area, because I'm not going to be discussing more about the content of other aspects. Let me guide you about the content of this. With respect to the content of this area, you see what actually happens is that it says the role of senior financial advisor in multinational organization. So what is the role or responsibility? What is expected out of you? Just like we study audit, we say what is expected out of the auditor. Here also we say what is expected out of the financial advisor. Second thing is that financial strategy formulation. What should be the business's financial strategy? How is the business overall going to be financed? The third thing is ethical and governance issue, that what are the ethical issues that you as a financial advisor got to keep in mind? Because you see, the ethics, you cannot escape ethics in any course. You got to make sure that your decisions are ethical. I repeat, you got to make sure that your decisions are ethical. Whatever role you are playing, you got to make sure that your decisions are ethical. Then the next thing is that the management of international trade and finance, and few more things, which is about dividend policy in multinationals and transfer pricing and etc. etc. So generally speaking, this is all about the syllabus of AFM. And as you could see, it's a top up, it's a step up from the financial management, and you as a student would have to learn this. And I'm telling you that what I would be doing is I would be taking you through even through the areas of, I repeat, I'll be taking you through even the areas of financial management. So anyone having any questions up till now? Yeah, anyone having any questions up till now? Yeah, anyone having any questions up till now? Okay, there's actually a question that how exactly is this course going to be delivered? This is generally a question for many, and basically, let me guide you. Let me give you a brief idea. The way we teach is blended learning. The way we teach is basically blended learning. What do we mean by blended learning? The concept of blended learning is that it's a mixture of online live and online recorded. I repeat, it's a mixture of live plus recorded. Let me guide you. Online blended learning is what we adopt. It's a mixture of live plus recorded. That's how it is. Now, what actually happens is that once you enroll with us, you get access to the recorded lectures. What do you get? You get access to the recorded lectures. And once you have got the access to recorded lectures, what we would do is that we would have 2 classes a week, and they're usually of 2 hours each. And when these classes are 2 hours each, so ultimately what happens is that when we meet up for the class, I would have told you in advance the topic that I expect you to cover up before you come to the class. You would have gone through that topic. I would have a quick recall of the topic, and then I'll go about doing the past examination question of that specific topic. And then I would go about doing the past examination question on that topic. So this is how we generally go about. I repeat, this is how we generally go about. Plus, what happens is occasionally, like there are going to be around 6 to 8 assignments during the whole session that you would be submitting to me of completed questions, and I'll be checking them. I'll be giving you feedbacks on them. So that is another aspect, which is that you will be having the assignments. The third thing is that there is going to be a mock exam, which is going to be conducted, and you will be given a feedback on that mock exam. And lastly, you would be added to a WhatsApp group of registered student, where you will be getting the tutor support on the WhatsApp. That is what is going to happen. Now, a lot of students, what they usually do is that they go about messaging the tutor personally. So in case if somebody of you message me personally, so I may not be able to respond back because I have usually highlighted X number of groups which I usually communicate with. And in case if I come across the messages person, I may see, I may not see. So just to avoid that confusion, just to avoid that you don't miss out on any of the communication or queries, it's always good and advisable that you coordinate with us on the relevant WhatsApp group. So basically, that's it for this introduction of the AFM course. I hope that you people would have understood the AFM syllabus content, and you would have actually got an understanding that how exactly we would be going about it. Now, one more thing, which is that there's going to be an ample amount of CBE practice that we would be doing. So you don't have to worry about it. But initially, I cannot directly go on to the CBE because it's very difficult to teach the concept with the CBE. I'll go on to the CBE at a later stage, but not now. Okay, there is a student who is saying that I have actually got exemptions. So you don't have to worry about it. I am actually going to teach you the way that you would not have any issues. You would not have any issues, inshallah. Okay, with respect to the fee, we charge USD 150. We are presently offering a 20% discount for all registrations by the 25th of June. So if any one of you wishes to register by the 25th of June, you'll get discounts. It's a 20% discount that you will get. Okay, anyone else having any other questions, please? Yeah, anyone else having any other questions, please? Yeah, any questions? Okay, the timings are going to be this same time as of today, which is 8 p.m. Pakistan time. The days are going to be finalized by the end of this week, inshallah. Okay. Okay, there is somebody who's asking for the duration of the course. Let me guide you. That it's a 3-month duration, and that is up till the September session. And if you are studying for December, you may actually wish to enroll for December. There is a small nominal additional charge for the December enrollment. Plus, with respect to the number of hours of lectures, it's approximately 60 to 70 hours of the lecture, including the past paper practice. Okay, Rohina, it's the days haven't been finalized yet. We are going to finalize the days within this week. By this weekend, we are going to be finalizing the days. Yeah, the fee is up to September. If you wish to add up till the December, there is an additional $30 charge. Okay, Benay, you can get in touch with our admin team and they're going to guide you through. Okay, anyone else having any other questions? Okay, good enough. So I think we have gone through the introduction.